He regrets not apologizing for saying that you were not attractive.
Well, thank God he didn't. That would have been really, really awkward with David there and with all of it. I'm not married to you anymore. Don't talk to me like that. I am now married. I don't. That's absolutely, oh God, that makes me mad, actually. That he would think he needed to, that makes me mad. He has no right whatsoever. That's playing a game with me. That is playing a game. No, that is inappropriate. It's a good thing he didn't. We might have walked out. There's no way.
A few years ago, I told you about Kody and Robyn and the way they see themselves. They honestly think they are more aware, more awakened, and more advanced than everyone else. Kody acts like he has a special connection to God, almost like he is chosen to speak for something divine. He claims messages come to him, and Robyn fully accepts this idea. She treats him like someone sacred, someone above normal people. Together, they behave as if they are on a higher level than everyone around them. It has always felt unsettling, strange, and very similar to a closed belief system where no one questions the leader. In the most recent episode, all of that was finally out in the open. I do not like using harsh labels, but their thinking was clearly detached from reality. The moment that revealed everything was Kody's so-called apology. He claimed he needed to apologize in order to free the women, as if they belonged to him. He even suggested that because of the time period we live in, women are property. That idea alone was disturbing. What made it worse was that Suki allowed him to talk without real challenge. She let him act like a powerful figure releasing captives, even though the women chose to leave on their own. Watching that happen was shocking. David, however, stood out in a different way. I actually respect him because he sees Kody clearly. He understands how Kody thinks, why he behaves the way he does, and what drives his actions. He reads his motives easily and does not fall for the performance. Janelle, on the other hand, still seems fooled. Because of legal limits, she accepts the apology as sincere, which is hard to understand. Christine and David, though, brought honesty and strength. Their presence exposed the unhealthy control and the almost religious devotion inside Kody and Robyn's relationship. Kody ended up revealing himself without anyone needing to push him. Everyone even agreed that David needed to be present to make sure nothing inappropriate happened. That alone raises serious questions. Why would anyone feel unsafe around someone who claims growth and peace? Kody later said David had no right to speak because he did not know him. David responded calmly and honestly. Then Kody said he loved Christine. Hearing that made everything uncomfortable. Saying those words in front of her husband crossed a clear line. It was not respectful or necessary. If the roles were reversed, no one would defend that behavior. Imagine sitting with your spouse while their former partner talks about deep love and magical memories. That does not sound like regret or accountability. It sounds like manipulation. True remorse does not reopen emotional doors. Kody's words felt intentional and careless. He showed no limits or respect, especially considering Robyn is his wife. Kody invited Christine to Moab not to rebuild trust, but to say what he wanted to say. Everything centered on his needs. He showed no interest in cooperation, healing, or shared responsibility, even though they still share a child. He made no effort to know the man helping raise his daughter. That speaks volumes. David understands this pattern because he has seen similar men for years. He knows how they treat women and how they protect their power. Robyn's absence during these moments is also telling. She claims it has nothing to do with her, even though she wanted plural marriage. Her words and expressions contradict each other. In the end, their actions expose the truth far more than anything may say. She clearly understands that what was said crossed a line, yet she still defends it. She claims that if David were somehow aware enough, he would realize that hearing such an uncomfortable comment would help Christine recover. That idea makes no sense. Christine chose to leave. Kody did not end the marriage, she did. So why would she need to hear him say he loved her? That has nothing to do with her decision. She walked away because she was treated badly for years. Christine left because her children were ignored. She left because Kody did not show up when her daughter needed surgery. She left because her child was put in danger. She left because money was controlled and used against her. She left because her emotional needs were dismissed, her mental well-being was damaged, and her voice did not matter. None of that is fixed by someone saying, "I loved you." Those words do not repair harm. They do not undo neglect. They do not erase abuse. The only reason someone would believe those words are healing is if they see themselves as superior. It comes from a mindset that assumes ownership over another person. It suggests a belief that one's voice carries special power, almost like divine authority. It implies that others are beneath them and should feel grateful for whatever they are given. That way of thinking is not growth. It is ego. Robyn even said that if David were more enlightened, he would understand why Kody spoke that way in front of him. When you stop and think about it, that statement is shocking. It twists logic and insults basic reasoning. Anyone with common sense would feel upset in that situation. If an ex-partner sat across from you and spoke about love in front of your spouse, most people would feel angry or disrespected. That reaction is normal. David did not buy into their story. He openly said it did not add up. He relied on logic instead of fantasy. He refused to accept an explanation built on superiority and self-importance. He even laughed at the idea that Kody and Robyn see themselves as so evolved. Others sometimes entertained those excuses, but David shut them down immediately. He made it clear that their beliefs were not normal or healthy. Then Kody claimed he could say whatever he wanted if he felt like it. He twisted his own words, saying something was not a lie but also not true. That statement contradicts itself. If something is said and it's not true, that is the definition of dishonesty. Watching someone say that with a straight face was unbelievable. When David felt offended, Kody offered a shallow apology followed by more justification. He even dismissed David's background, speaking as if he were above him. That attitude matched Robyn's tone as well. Both of them implied that David simply was not smart enough to understand their thinking. What they truly meant was that he would not submit to it. David refused to engage because he recognized the danger in that mindset. The ideas being pushed are harmful and deeply disrespectful to women. What makes this worse is that a woman was placed in the role of defending and explaining those views. That forces her to support beliefs that strip women of independence and safety. David understood that clearly, and he chose not to play along. Someone commented on my recent video and said they noticed David mention that he would never have allowed Christine to go there or agreed to that situation. They called it a huge warning sign. I disagree, and I think this needs to be explained clearly. Kody Brown has a long history of harmful behavior. He has shown again and again that he is willing to hurt others to get his way. He ignores boundaries, rejects accountability, and believes rules do not apply to him. That alone matters when judging David's reaction. Kody has access to weapons and has openly expressed ideas that place him above the law. He has demonstrated cruelty through control, manipulation, and fear. He treats people as tools instead of human beings. In his world, only his needs matter. Everyone else exists to serve him. That is why David refusing to understand his point of view is not a flaw, it is protection. When David says Kody's thinking is far out of bounds, he is calling it what it is, harmful and dangerous. Suki kept pushing David to see things from Kody's angle. David responded by saying he was already being respectful simply by sitting beside Christine during that conversation. That matters. Sitting there calmly while an abusive former partner speaks is already a compromise. Expecting more than that ignores reality. There is nothing respectful about telling someone you loved them after years of rage and rejection, especially in front of their spouse. For years, Kody claimed he never cared about these women. Suddenly, he changes the story and says he needs to release them so they can move forward. That language is disturbing. It suggests ownership. It implies control. It frames grown women as possessions waiting for permission. The idea that Christine cannot heal unless Kody allows it is deeply insulting and cruel. What makes this worse is how that message was delivered to David, the husband of a woman who survived long-term mistreatment. Asking him to accept that only the abuser can provide freedom is wrong. Wrapping it in religion does not make it better. No belief system should excuse neglect, financial control, emotional harm, or abandonment of children. No higher power would demand that. Christine has been married to David for years. Her past connection to Kody ended long before that wedding. Their relationship was broken for nearly a decade. They barely interacted outside filming. Acting like she is newly separated or confused is dishonest. If she had unresolved attachment, she would not have built a new life or committed to a new partner. Forcing David to entertain this narrative places him in an unfair position. It also continues the pattern of abuse. This behavior does not only affect Christine, it spills onto the people who love her. That is exactly how control works. Even after separation, harm continues through pressure, rewriting history, and public humiliation. I was told by someone close to Mary that people in her life want her away from the show and away from Kody. They believe as long as he has access, the harm continues. That says everything. This situation shows that the pattern never stopped, it only changed form. When David asked if Kody truly believed Christine needed permission to live freely, the question was valid. Treating women like property, like labor, like bodies meant to serve, is abuse. Calling it out matters. For the first time, someone on that show did exactly that. Kody treats these women as if they belong to him. That is the core of the problem. He never had legal authority over Christine. They were never lawfully married. He never had ownership, power, or control over her life. Because of that, he has no right to decide anything for her now. She does not need approval from him to move forward. She does not need him to speak certain words so she can continue living. Healing does not come from the person who caused the harm, and it never has. Christine is free to choose her own future. She does not need permission to grow, love, or rebuild. Kody also does not get to decide when her pain ends. Trauma can stay even after a person leaves an unhealthy situation. That does not mean someone is stuck. She can be happy, committed, and strong while still carrying wounds from the past. Being done with a person is not the same as forgetting what they did. Those are two different things, and Kody refuses to understand that difference. What makes this worse is how he tries to control the story. It is very common for someone who caused damage to demand silence from the person they hurt. Telling an abused partner to stop speaking about the abuse is another form of control. It shifts blame and protects the one who caused the pain. Christine has every right to talk about her experience. That will not stop just because it makes Kody uncomfortable. It should not stop. Thankfully, Christine now has a partner who supports her. Hearing David stand firm was a relief. He does not fall for manipulation. He does not excuse harmful behavior. He does not accept twisted logic disguised as growth. Watching him challenge Kody and Robyn brings clarity. It shows just how disconnected and unhealthy their thinking truly is. What is unfolding now exposes the darker side of plural marriage. The illusion is cracking. The control, the imbalance, and the emotional damage are becoming impossible to ignore. This is not about belief or lifestyle, it is about power. Kody's actions reveal entitlement, obsession, and a need to dominate. Robyn supports that system instead of questioning it. Together, they defend ideas that strip women of independence and dignity. Calling this behavior out matters. For a long time, it was hidden behind religion, family language, and excuses. Now it is visible. The pattern is clear. Kody behaves in ways that are disturbing. Robyn reinforces his delusions instead of grounding him in reality. Watching this unfold is uncomfortable, but it is also important. Silence only protects harm. Christine's strength is evident. Leaving did not mean she escaped without scars, but it did mean she chose herself. She built a new life. She found peace. She did not wait for Kody to release her because she never belonged to him in the first place. What comes next looks like it will reveal even more. The reactions, the defensiveness, and the anger show just how fragile Kody and Robyn's narrative really is. When control slips, truth comes out, and that truth is not flattering. I am glad someone is finally saying what many people have seen for years. This situation deserves honesty, it deserves accountability, and most of all, it deserves to center the voices of the women who lived through it.